Vrindai hai tulsi devyai priyai hai keshavashacha Vishnu bhakti prade devi sajavachai namo namaha. Jai Tulsi Maharani ki jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they're full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai Vanchakalpatarubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Vyepacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Alrighty. What is that? Not marigolds. Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Madhava Girivardhari Gopijana Madhava Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjavuna Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Munatera Panachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Doyurano Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Madhava Girivardhari Gopijana Madhava Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjavuna Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Gunatera Manachade Yamunatera Manachade Joyu Madhumadhura Kunyabihari Joyu Madhumadhura Kunyabihari Amadava Kunyabihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravitkacharya also Tara Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace, Abhaya Chadananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Say Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Sidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Swami Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturadam Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Bodhamai Ki Jai Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pacharani Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarni. So today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 38th chapter, text 25. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Okay. Vadani Tachakila Loka Pala Kirita Justamala Pada Renaho Dadarsha Goshte Shiti Kotukani Vilakshitani Abja Yavankushadhyaya. Okay. Padani Tashakila Lokapala Karita Jushta Malapada Renaho The Darsha Goste Kshitiko Tukani Vilakshitan Yabjaya Vankushadhyaya. Okay. Vadani Tashakila Lokapala Kirita Jushta Malapada Reno Darsha Goste Shiti Kotukani Vilakshitan Yabjaya Vankushadhyaya. Padani Tachakila Lokapala Kirita Jushta Malapada Reno. Darsha Gostek Shiti Kotukani. Vilakshitan Yabjaya Vankushadhyaya. Anyone else? Ladies? Okay. Padani, the footprints. Tasha, of him. Akila, all. Loka, of the planets. Pala, by the superintendents. Kirita, upon their crowns. Jushta, placed. Amala, pure. Pada, of his feet. Reno, the dust. The darsha, he akrua, saw. Go stay in the cow pasture. Chiti, the earth. Kotakani, wonderfully decorating. Vilakshitani, distinguishable. Abja, by the lotus. Yaba, barley corn. Ankusha, elephant goad. Adyahai, and so on. Translation: in the coward pasture, Akrura saw the footprints of those feet whose pure dust the rulers of all the planets in the universe hold on their crowns. Those footprints of the Lord, distinguished by such marks as the lotus, barley corn, and elephant goad, made the ground wonderfully beautiful. So there's no commentary by the servants of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So we're going to read the commentaries by some of the acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, he saw the footprints, Vadani marked with Ankusha, means the elephant goad, etc., which were the cause of astonishing good fortune to the earth, Shiti Kotukam. And Jiva Goswami states, because he soon entered Krishna's area, he saw the footprints. The glory of the footprints is described because the foot dust destroys all contamination of samsara, amala. Amala means impurities. Like we have this word, amala purana, which refers to the Srimad Bhagavatam. It means the pure Purana. And also I have a disciple, Amala Harinam, which means the pure chanting of the Lord's holy names. It is employed on the crowns of the rulers of the planets. Since he was seated on the chariot, how could he see Krishna's footprints in the evening when Gokula was getting dark? Since those footprints were mixed with the footprints of many cowherds. Those footprints made the earth joyful, kshiti kotukam. The earth kept those footprints explicitly as her ornaments, and they spontaneously manifested to the eyes of the devotees. How did he recognize them as the Lord's footprints? They were specifically or specially marked or appeared extraordinary, vilakshanani, with the lotus and gold. And finally, Sanatana Goswami. He saw Krishna's footprints in the pasture nearby outside of Braja. Soon, Krishna would leave the forest and enter the cow pastures of the village. He had a rare opportunity. He saw the beautiful or pure Amala dust, devoid of even the desire for liberation, which the rulers hold on their crowns for that very reason. In other words, the rulers want liberation. They see him from far off and offer respects with great devotion. Since he was seated on the chariot, how could he see Krishna's footprints in the evening when Gokula was getting dark? Since those footprints were mixed with the footprints of many cowards, same thing. Those footprints made the earth joyful. Shiti kotukam, the earth kept those footprints explicitly as their ornaments, and they spontaneously manifested to the eyes of the devotees. And then same thing. How could he recognize them as the Lord's footprints? They were specifically marked as spirit extraordinary, vilakshitani, with the lotus and gold. Aja means the flag, thunderbolt, and other symbols. Or Brahma, the protector of all the people, holds the foot dust to his crown, and after having received Krishna's mercy, and there's a Sanskrit verse here, Drishva Tvarena Nija Doran Natu Vatirya Prithvyam Vapu Kanaka Dandam Iva Vibhacha Drishva Katur Muk Kuta Kotivir Angry Yumam Natva Mudashru Sujalar Akrita Vishekam. After seeing this, Brahma hastily got down from his swan carrier, that's from the Bhagavatam, fell down like a golden rod and touched the lotus feet of Krishna with the tips of the 4 crowns on his heads. Offering his obeisances, he bathed the feet of Krishna with his tears of joy. That's from the Bhagavatam 10:13-62. Or he saw the pure dust that Brahma, Shiva, and others hold on their crowns. Somehow or other they obtain it and worship it. It is most rare. He directly saw the footprints made of that dust. He was more fortunate than the Devatas. Again, the verse. Padani tasha kila lokapala kirita jushta malapada reno the darsha goste shiti kotukani vilakshitan yabcha yavankushadhyai. So Omagana Timiranda Shaganam Jana Shilakaya Chakshura Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigarave Namaha. So there's several questions people may ask. One question is, why were the footprints there? Why wasn't Krishna, when he was pasturing the cows, wearing some sort of sandals or Crocs, as they have nowadays? Why wasn't Krishna wearing these things? Well, he was asked that very same question by Yashoda Mai. And Yashoda Mai asked him, why don't you wear something on your feet? Because certainly they had shoes at that particular point. They were not, shoes were invented many years before that. And so Krishna said, the cows don't wear shoes. Horses sometimes wear shoes, but the cows don't wear shoes, so why should I wear shoes? So he was feeling very much connected with the cows. Now, there's an actual internal reason why Krishna didn't wear shoes. And it doesn't have too much to do with the cows. It has to do with evoking the intense emotions of his devotees. Because as we see, Yashodamai was very worried about him not wearing shoes. And the problem in Vrindavan is, of course, there's no problems in Vrindavan, but one of the problems is, because there's no problems, one of the problems is there's a lot of nice sand there. It's real soft and really nice on the feet when you're walking. There's one particular area around Govardhan where it's just a sand path. It used to all be a sand path. Actually, all around Vrindavan used to be a sand path too. And it's very cooling. In fact, where our temple is was named after sand. Did you know that? Temple of Vrindavan. Raman Reti. Raman Reti means pleasing sands. Now you can't find too much pleasing sands around there anymore because of all the construction. So, but the problem is the thorns. And in Braj, you have these Maha thorns. Maha doesn't mean like it's wonderful. It means big. And these thorns are so big that even when you do wear shoes, they go through the shoes and they go into your feet. You know, I wore sandals, shoes, sneakers, whatever, and they actually go right through. So Krishna is obviously being pierced by the thorns. So you may say, what's the purpose of that? Well, I'll explain the purpose of that. Is that the gopis were in anxiety about it because they understood that Krishna's lotus feet were so delicate. I mean, basically, just by touching them, they would change colors on the bottom, isn't it? It's so delicate that even when they put the feet on their breasts, they were thinking it was painful for Krishna. So basically, Krishna was trying to evoke what the intense emotions of his devotees. Anxiety, right? So one may say, Vaikuntha, spiritual world. Vaikuntha is a name for the spiritual world. Basically, it's a negative designation in the sense that it says it's a place without anxiety, right? You know, this world, we're in anxiety because of duality. Mayam, shut. Because of the duality of this world, of pleasure and pain, or, you know, something we experience when we get older is health and sickness and doctors and things like that. It's full of anxiety. It's kunta. Welcome to Kunta Loka, which is actually this material world. Anxiety, you know, financial anxiety, all sorts of anxiety, relationship anxiety, isn't it? She loves me not, or something like that. So you would think that in the spiritual world, there's no anxiety, right? And you would think that when you join Krishna consciousness, there's no anxiety. Two things. So in the spiritual world, there's anxiety, but the anxiety is loving anxiety, just like the anxiety. Let me give an example that Prabhupada gives. The anxiety that a mother feels for her child. If you tell the mother, all right, I can just take the child away and someone else will take care of the child. I mean, a good mother, not Kali Yuga mother. Mother will say, no. She's actually appreciating, in a certain sense, that anxiety is, you know, every time the child sneezes or does something like that, oh my God, does the child have COVID or something? So that's anxiety out of love. And so Krishna puts his devotees in anxiety. I mean, we've been reading the Krishna book recently about Devaki and Vasudeva, how much anxiety they were in after Krishna appeared. Of course, Krishna first appeared to them with 4 arms, right? And that caused them anxiety. I mean, Krishna appeared to them with 4 arms to say, you know, I'm God. You don't have to be in anxiety, right? He was explaining that. You don't have to be in anxiety. I'm God. You know, official God, 4 arms, see? You don't have to. And they were saying, no, no, get rid of the extra 2 arms. You know, look like a normal baby. It's that. So from the very beginning, I mean, even before Krishna appeared, there was, you know, anxiety about the kids, Vasudeva and Devaki's kids being killed. I mean, anxiety, you know, or anxiety at the wedding of Vasudeva and Devaki, right? I mean, Kamsa was taking Vasudeva and Devaki to their home, and all of a sudden, you know, Krishna arranges to put him in anxiety, Vasudeva in anxiety. Oh my God, my wife is going to be killed on the wedding day. And, you know, anxiety, you know, so you see this continually, not that I'm trying to frighten people away from Krishna consciousness. You see actually this continually in Krishna's pastimes. Devotees are, the gopis are in anxiety when Krishna's in the pasturing field. Akrura is in anxiety. I mean, so this anxiety is the anxiety of love. So in the material world, we are in the Krishna conscious movement, you know, because we're dealing with material things in the Krishna conscious movement. Just like we're maybe managing things, which hopefully one day we won't have to do. There's anxiety about different things. You know, Janmashtami is coming up. Anxiety. If you're managing, you know, if you're just coming to the temple and having a good old time, you know, people come to the temple, you know, just Johnny, Hari Bol, and they don't see what's happening behind the scenes. You know, the cooking, the cleaning, the deity worship, the setting up of the tents, the this, and, you know, making sure everybody's keeping their nose clean. So, and it's just anxiety, and that anxiety is part of the purificatory process of Krishna consciousness. So it's not, you know, in the spiritual world, which is the pure form from which this material world is reflected. Like in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, you find the example or metaphor of the banyan tree. The banyan tree is reflected in the body of water, and therefore the branches are going down and the roots are going up. And actually, they're going up and down too. That's a banyan tree. So in the spiritual world, there's everything we have here. You know, there's hankering. And of course, we could say there's lust, but it's actually love. You know, the lust is a reflection of love. There's anger. Anger, you know, all these things that we have here that we consider to be anarthas are there in the spiritual world, but they're actually sources of bliss. They're actually, when they're exhibited fully, they manifest the sanchari bhavas. Bhavas means emotions, you know, 33 sanchari bhavas. Sanchari means the emotions, vyabhacharis, that move throughout the body, the transcendental bodies of the devotees. So anyway, so that's really the reason Krishna doesn't wear shoes. You know, the internal reason Krishna doesn't wear shoes. Externally, he just wants to respect the cows. But internally, he just wants to evoke the most intense emotions of his devotees. Now, there's another question too that I was thinking about, that why don't those footprints of Krishna become, let's say, mixed completely with the footprints of the cowherd boys? Because, you know, everybody's walking together with the cows, and the cows are walking everywhere. The cowherd boys are walking everywhere. And, you know, so footprints, they just don't remain distinct. after a while. So I was thinking about that, and then I did a little research. And Vishwanath Chakravarti states, this is a very interesting statement, Lord Krishna is actually the wealth of all living beings. All the inhabitants of the forest of Braj would carefully preserve his footprints as a great treasures, the very ornaments of the earth. Thus, no creature within Vrindavan would ever walk upon the Lord Krishna's footprints. So in other words, they see his footprints and they just scoot around them. They don't even walk over them. Because to walk over something, we're talking about the Vedic system, is even when you step over someone, it's considered an offense. In America, we don't think about that. We usually step over someone, kick someone, move furniture around with our feet, kick people. So it's an offense. Just like when Govinda had to serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was lying in the doorway, and it was Govinda's time to massage Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken prasadam. Govinda couldn't enter to execute his service. So what he did is he put a cloth over Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he stepped over, which is actually technically considered an offense. So he stepped over, and then he massaged Lord Chaitanya, but he didn't come out. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him when he came back to external consciousness, he said, why didn't you leave and take prasadam? He said, I was willing to make an offense to serve, but not for my own sense gratification. So anyway, so that's why the footprints are there. Now, I also wanted to hear more about Krishna's footprints, which are really interesting. So in the Skanda Purana, there's actually elaborate descriptions of Krishna's footprints, and I'm going to read some of these descriptions. And these descriptions are quoted by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who has commented on them. And this is from the commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, 30th chapter, text 25. So this is quite interesting. That, let's see, this is a commentary based upon when the gopis were experiencing like unmada, transcendental, like unlimited madness, and when they discovered Krishna's footprints. So Vishwanath Chakravarti comments, in the Skanda Purana, the placement of the footprints and their function is described as follows. Listen to this, and just try to picture this in your mind. Because if you picture this, this will actually purify you. This is described here. At the base of the big right toe is a chakra. And that chakra is there for cutting down the enemies of the devotees. So picture that, right foot, big toe, chakra. At the base of the middle toe is a lotus to attract the bees of the meditator's mind. So imagine a lotus, in the middle toe. Below the lotus, just, if you can imagine or picture or visualize, it would be good. Below the lotus, a flag which indicates victory of the soul over all anarthas. Isn't this cool? I was just meditating on this last night. At the base of the little toe, that's interesting. It's interesting in Hindi. In Fiji, they don't have a different word for toes. They call your feet's fingers. So anyway, at the base of the little toe is a thunderbolt which destroys the mountain of sins of the devotee. The base of the little toe is a thunderbolt. On the heel is an ankusha, which is the elephant goad. You remember that from this verse? Which controls the elephant of the mind of the devotee. It's on the heel. I don't want to show with my feet because I don't have lotus feet. On the creases of the big toe are barley grain symbols indicating the enjoyment of wealth. Now, for the devotee, that means spiritual wealth. It doesn't mean, winning the lottery or gold or anything like that. On the side are the thunderbolt, and before that, another ankusha, another elephant goat. So there's two elephant goats. In the Skanda Purana, Krishna's right foot is described with the ankusha at the base of the little toe, and below that, the thunderbolt. Therefore, the Gaudiya followers say that the first description is the foot of Narayan. So there's a difference between Krishna's feet and Narayan's feet. In addition to the chakra, flag, lotus, thunderbolt, ankush, and barley grain, other signs are described in the Vaishnava Toshanate. There is a line starting between the big and first toe extending way down the foot, and that's a prominent line. Below the chakra, there's an umbrella. Below the prominent line are 4 swastikas in 4 directions. Swastika means auspiciousness. It's unfortunately Hitler took that name and perverted the understanding that people have of that particular name. It means auspicious. In 4 directions, joining the 4 swastikas are 4 jambu fruits, and the center of the swastika is an 8-pointed figure. Thus, there are 11 distinct signs. On the left foot, from the base of the big toe, there is a conch, left foot now, with a mouth for the purpose of revealing all knowledge. At the base of the middle toe, there are 2 concentric circles. Below that, a bow without string. Below that, a cow hoof print. And at the bottom, a triangle surrounded by 4 water pots. Sometimes only 3 water pots are mentioned. Below that is a half moon touched by 2 more triangles. And it's very complicated. I can't picture all these things simultaneously. Maybe you can. Below that is a fish. With these 8 symbols, the total is then 19. Hopefully we can get some sort of diagram about these particular things. So anyway, so very, very auspicious. Now in this verse, it is mentioned that basically about the earth, about the earth becoming auspicious because Krishna's footprints are there. Now in the Srimad Bhagavatam, well, actually, let me just read one verse from the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that describes this. This is 117:26. Yam Chabumir Bhagavata Yasitoru Barasati Shimad Bistat Padanyashai Sarvata Kritiko Tuka. The burden of the earth was certainly diminished by the personality of Godhead and others as well, and by others as well. When he was present as an incarnation, all good was performed because of his auspicious footprints. Now, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1:12:3, there's this question by the sages as by whom or what is Dharma protected now that Krishna's footprints aren't there anymore, that Krishna has left this planet. Famous verse, Krishna Swadama Bhagate Dharma Gyana Debi Saha Kalo Nashta Drisham Esha Purnako Tanotataha. Actually, that's 1:13:43. No, 1:12:3. But the question is 1:3:43. 1:3:43 is the question. That now that Krishna has left his abode, what are religious principles protected? And the answer is that Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dharmagana Debisa Kalona Drishamesha Purnarko Dunotaha. Now that Krishna's lotus feet are no longer on this earth, then religious principles are protected by what? The Srimad Bhagavatam. Very, very important. Very, very important point. And also protected by another verse from the Bhagavatam 12:3:51, Kaler Doshanade Rajan Ashjeko Mahadguna Kirtanada Eva Krishna Sha Mukta Sangha Paramvajet. That even though we're in this age of Kali, after Krishna has left this world, Kaler Doshanad Hey Rajan, O king, this age of Kali is an ocean of difficulty. Ashjeka Mahadguna, but there is one good quality. Kirtanad Eva Krishna Sha Mukta Sangha Paramvajet. So this is how we can maintain Krishna's presence on this earth planet, in spite of Krishna's no longer being here, no longer leaving his footprints. Of course, if you go to Govardhan and Vrindavan, you can actually find some of Krishna's footprints there. There's at least 3 or 4 footprints of Krishna. In addition, so the religious principles are protected by the Srimad Bhagavatam, Purnakro Dhanodata. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is also described in terms of different parts of the Lord's transcendental body, beginning with his footprints, and especially the feet of the Lord are described as connected, or the lotus feet of the Lord are connected with the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm going to read a verse from the Padma Purana that describes the connection of each canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam with specific parts of the Lord's body. And of course, we know the 10th canto is the Lord's smiling face. So it's a very beautiful verse. Pado yadiya pratama dvitiya trijya turiya katita yad uranvish tata panchamahiva sasto bhujantaram toryugalam tatanya kantasturajan navamo yadiyo Mukharavindam Dasamam Prapulam Ekadasho Yasha Latapatam Siro Pitu Dvadasha Eva Patitam Adidevam Karuna Nidanan Ritamalav Aman Suhita Vataram Para Samsaram Samudras Setumba Vasamehi Bhagavata Swarupam. The first and second canto of the Bhagavatam are Sri Krishna's lotus feet. The third and fourth cantos are his thighs. The fifth canto is his navel. The sixth canto is his chest. The seventh and eighth cantos are his arms. The ninth canto is his throat. The 10th canto is the beautiful lotus face. The 11th canto is his forehead. The 12th canto is his head. I bow down to that Lord, the ocean of mercy, whose color is like that of a tamal tree, and who appears in this world for the welfare of all. I worship him as the bridge for crossing the unfathomable ocean of material existence. The Bhagavatam has appeared as his very self. This is very interesting. Bhagavatam has appeared as his very self. And then Prabhupada's comment on this, which is really interesting. And that is the way of seeing. First of all, you have to see the lotus feet. And of course, seeing the lotus feet naturally evokes in one a mood of service. It's not that you just see feet. You actually think, now I have to serve. And I've experienced this when I look at the deities. All right, take darshan of the deities. Start and look. And that I look at the deity's feet, right? Take darshan of the deity's feet. And I immediately think, I have to serve. And so that's the point, to realize Jivera Swarupa Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. I'm a servant. And then you can actually understand everything else about the Supreme Lord. Especially, you can understand his intimate pastimes in Vrindavan, because all the residents of Vrindavan are simply trying to please and serve Krishna. There's no question of them thinking of personal enjoyment. So if you jump up to the 10th canto, the face of the Lord, you could possibly, most likely, be thinking of personal enjoyment or projecting your own mentality upon your understanding of the residents of Vrindavan. So let me finish this. There's very little time left. Phew. Prabhupada said, first of all, you have to see the lotus feet, then gradually the thighs, and then at last the beautiful face. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, second canto are the two lotus feet of the Lord. We have to read very carefully because we have to see, first of all, Padam Bhujam. Don't go all of a sudden to see the face of the Lord just like the Sahajas did. Their reading of Bhagavad means Rasa Leela. Rasa Leela is the smiling of Krishna, where Krishna is personally enjoying very sweet smiling. So you don't try to see the smiling of Krishna immediately. First of all, try to see the lotus feet of Krishna, Padam Bhujam, then gradually rise. When you're accustomed to see, as soon as you close your eyes, immediately see Krishna's lotus feet, then you can go further. And that is Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyway, interesting quote, isn't it? When you're accustomed, you close your eyes and you see the Lord's lotus feet, then you go further. Well, so much for that. Okay, that happy note.
Govindam Hari Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindanalayatakam Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddhasundaramam Tandar Ako Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Hari Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Andani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham
Kamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Krishna Kamaham Bhajami Govindam
Hari Purusham
Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Samanitino Mene Saraswati Devi, Purani Pachal, Devi, Nivesesha, Shunyavaga Deva Chachare, Sacharane. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shiva Sadi Gaurata Vrinda. Chaitanya Brahma Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shiva Sadi Gaurata Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shiva Sadi Gaurata Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Radha, Kanana Radha, Kanana Radha. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhadikacharya also tells that she, Shimad, His Divine Grace Savaya Charanat Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada.
Durdaiva mid Janina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadishakamaye